Amid the most remote landscapes on the planet, far from the eyes of civilization, there are places that time forgot. Immense, silent structures covered in dust, moss, and untold stories. Some emerge in the middle of the jungle, others beneath ice, among urban ruins, or in the forgotten corners of the desert. These constructions were discovered by chance, by satellites, explorers, or by those who simply decided to go beyond the map. And that is exactly what we will explore here today. The new hidden airport in the Everglades, Florida, United States, which recently appeared in the news, went viral worldwide as an incredible discovery, but in reality it is part of a long history. Created in 1968, the ambitious Everglades Jetport project envisioned that it would be the largest airport in the world, with 6 runways and a vast area capable of accommodating even supersonic aircraft. Due to environmental concerns, construction was halted in 1970, leaving only one runway of 3,200 meters. Currently, it operates as a training and general aviation airport, and being situated in an isolated location, it was perceived as a rediscovered, abandoned construction. In June of 2025, the government of the state of Florida announced the construction of a center for immigrants on the site of the abandoned airport, officially called Alligator Alcatraz, with capacity for up to 5,000 detainees. Located in an area surrounded by alligators and pythons, the government intends to use these natural predators as a physical barrier to deter escapes. The ancient Roman city of Baia, located near Naples, Italy, was partially submerged between the 2nd and 3rd centuries due to bradysism, that is, the slow uplift and subsidence of the ground caused by volcanic activity in the Phlegrean fields. To this day, new discoveries continue to be made in the city. In July of 2024, for example, archaeologists found an impressive pavement made up of hundreds of marble slabs creating geometric patterns. This type of mosaic highlights the high aesthetic standards of the Roman elite, and in April of 2023, 2 marble altars from the 1st century were located, just before the city's submersion process began, which lasted decades. Also, in mid-April of 2023, a new polychrome blue mosaic was discovered, notable for its quality and similarity to mosaics in North Africa. Known as the Las Vegas of the ancient world, Baia was a luxurious retreat frequented by figures such as Julius Caesar, Nero, and Cicero. The exceptional preservation on the seabed allows the observation of paved streets, mosaics, columns, and even hydraulic infrastructure, many remaining almost intact under layers of sand. Continuous geotectonic phenomena still transform the site. Although it sank, the ground is rising again in certain areas, potentially resurrecting parts of the archaeological site in the future. The abandoned school in Jacksonville, Florida, United States, was inaugurated in 1918 and officially closed in 1960, later serving as an office and storage until being completely abandoned in the 1970s. The site, nicknamed the Devil's School, became a focal point for young people seeking adventures in eerie places during Halloween. Folkloric narratives about bizarre and strange events at the school began circulating among the population, making the place even more haunted and frightening. Despite the stories, there are no historical records of unusual or criminal events occurring there. A fire in 1995 also sparked supernatural theories, but it was in fact started by homeless people who set the building ablaze. Since 2000, the school has been listed as a historical landmark. The community works to preserve the site by cleaning graffiti and controlling illegal access, which is not always prevented, especially during Halloween. The famous giant rabbit on Google Earth is not a mythical creature, but rather an impressive geolocated artwork called Hase, which in German means hare, created by the Viennese collective Gelatin. In 2005, Gelatin began constructing this sculpture, which measured about 60 meters in length and 6 meters in height on the slope of Mount Coleto Fava in Prata, Novoso, Italy. It was made of waterproof canvas, stuffed with straw, and intentionally designed to be climbable and interactive. Visitors could climb on it, lie down, and explore its carved-out interior. Since its creation, the rabbit has been captured by satellites and can be easily seen on Google Earth and Google Maps platforms, cited as one of the most curious Easter eggs on the platform. The expectation was that the sculpture would last until around 2025, but wear caused by nature accelerated its decay. From 2016 onward, it began to decompose, with faded colors and an increasingly indistinct form, leaving today only pinkish outlines and fragments. Bitz Hilstaten, on the outskirts of Berlin, Germany, is one of the most iconic urban exploration sites in the country. Founded between 1898 and 1902 as a tuberculosis sanatorium, it initially had capacity for 600 patients, later expanded to double. During World War I, it became a military hospital, and it was there that Adolf Hitler was treated for a leg wound in 1916. In World War II, it was used by German forces and, at the end of the conflict, occupied by the Red Army. From 1945 to 1995, it was under Soviet control, functioning as the largest Soviet military hospital outside the former Soviet Union. After the Soviet withdrawal in 1995, the site was progressively abandoned. Some wings were privatized or maintained for neurological rehabilitation, but the vast remainder was reclaimed by nature. Videos and photographs on social media show corridors, auditoriums, operating rooms, and old beds frozen in time in impressive scenes. Local companies offer photographic tours and visits to the site. The Monsole Forts are impressive military platforms built during World War II at the mouths of the Thames and Mersey estuaries in southern England. Designed by civil engineer Guy Monsole, they were erected between 1942 and 1943 as anti-aircraft and naval fortresses. Equipped with anti-aircraft guns and radars, they defended London and Liverpool against bombings and airborne mines dropped by German aircraft. The forts saw real combat, shooting down about 22 German planes and 30 V-1 missiles during the war. Around 1958 to 1960, due to navigation risks, many were dismantled. In the 1960s, some were occupied by pirate radio stations, taking advantage of their location outside territorial waters. Today, only 5 forts remain visible in the Thames. Most are inaccessible for safety reasons, but they can be seen on boat tours that take tourists and curious visitors close to these incredible structures. The legendary Secret Station of New York City, United States, is the elegant City Hall Station, the city's first subway station, inaugurated in 1904, now decommissioned and hidden beneath City Hall Park in Lower Manhattan. The station opened on October 27, 1904, as the southern terminal and was designed as a true architectural gem, with arches, colorful tiles, bronze chandeliers, and Tiffany glass skylights. On December 31, 1945, it was closed for not accommodating the longer trains that became standard. Although abandoned, the station remains in excellent condition without significant graffiti and is known by many as the Secret Station. The site is considered by many to be the most beautiful subway station in the world, a rare example of refined design in a functional underground environment. It also represents a fascinating chapter of urban history, a decorative space, now ghostly and regarded by many as secret. The charming and photogenic Riolyte in the state of Nevada, United States, is one of the most notable ghost towns in the United States of America, with a vibrant history followed by decline. The town was founded in 1905 after the discovery of gold in the region. At its peak, between 1907 and 1908, it reached between 3,500 and 5,000 inhabitants, with surprising infrastructure. All this was made possible thanks to magnate Charles Michael Schwab, who bought the region's mine in 1906, investing in piped water, electricity, and railway tracks. However, after the 1906 earthquake that struck the region and the financial crisis of 1907, everything began to decline drastically. The mine closed in 1911. By 1920, only 14 residents remained. Today, one can still find the ruins of the site, including an amazing 3-story facade much photographed. The location is one of the best preserved and most photographed ghost towns of the American West, with impressive ruins and film-worthy scenery that fascinate tourists, which is why tourism thrives in the region. The iconic and enigmatic Ghost Tower of Bangkok, Thailand, is an unfinished skyscraper in the Sathorn district. Construction began in 1990 as a luxurious condominium of 47 floors, about 600 units, designed by architect Rangsan Torsuwao. In 1993, the architect was arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to commit murder, which damaged investments. Construction, which was between 80 and 90% complete, was abruptly halted during the Asian financial crisis of 1997. Known as the Ghost Tower, the site has become a popular destination for urban explorers and photographers, despite being illegal and dangerous. The Those who venture illegally report breathtaking views of the city and an immense sense of altitude. Rumors of hauntings amplify its mysterious aura, spreading daily on social media. The legendary Satsop nuclear complex in the state of Washington, United States, is one of the most fascinating abandoned industrial-style structures. The complex was planned by a major company in 1977 to meet the growing energy demand of the Pacific Northwest. Construction was halted in 1982, with about 75% of the works completed. The two cooling towers, about 150 meters tall, stood majestic, yet never generated power nor received nuclear fuel. The immense, partially enclosed structures create a post-apocalyptic atmosphere, frequently used for science fiction films and music videos. The reactor and tower interiors set an ideal stage for dark narratives and are much sought after by tourists and adventure enthusiasts. Visitors can see the towers up close, accessible by public roads, and guided tours are offered in the warmer months. Controlled excursions are also available to explore parts of the buildings, particularly for military training, filming, and subterranean sound recordings. The famous Great Circles of Jordan are giant megalithic structures still shrouded in mystery. These circular stone complexes are formed by low walls of local rock, with diameters varying from approximately 70 meters to 450 meters. These structures were already observed from the air by pilots in the 1920s, but only gained scientific attention recently, propelled by aerial and satellite imagery. Archaeological samples suggest some were built at least 2,000 years ago, with usage layers also pointing to the Bronze Age, which spanned from 4,500 to 2,000 years before Christ. Many archaeologists see a ritual function potentially linked to death or territoriality of the peoples of the time, using the circles to generate curiosity. The famous Guardian of Canada, called the Badlands Guardian, is a strange formation located in southwest Alberta, Canada, which, when viewed from above by satellite, resembles the profile of a human head with an indigenous headdress and even headphones. It is a natural sculpture formed by erosion in the fragile clay soil of the Badlands. Despite appearing convex, it is actually a valley. The image became known after being discovered in 2005 by Lynn Hickox while exploring Google Earth images. Erosion caused by wind and rain slowly carved the clay layer, creating indentations and protrusions reminiscent of a human face. The illusion formed naturally over hundreds of years without human intervention. Although impressive from above, there are no trails or public access for direct observation. The formation can only be appreciated by satellite. The fascinating Hashima Island, also known as Gunkanjima, is a living, or dead, portrait of the rise and fall of Japanese industrialization. It all began with the discovery of coal in 1810, acquired and developed by Mitsubishi from 1890, with active mining from 1887 to 1974. In 1959, about 5,259 inhabitants lived on just 6 hectares, a density equivalent to more than 80,000 people per square kilometer. To support the community, concrete buildings, a school, hospital, cinema, market, public baths, and even a temple were erected. With the decline of coal mining and the rise of petroleum, the island was emptied in 1974 and left in ruins. Reopened for visitation on April 22, 2009. Today it is possible to reach it by boat from Nagasaki, but only part of the island can be accessed due to safety measures. Wearing a helmet is mandatory after all. There are literally crumbling ruins. The Ryu Jang Hotel, also called the Hotel of Doom, or Ghost of Pyongyang, is a 330-meter pyramid with 105 floors that looms majestically yet uninhabited on the skyline of Pyongyang, North Korea. Construction began in 1987, driven by geopolitical competition with neighboring South Korea and to celebrate international events. The structure reached its maximum height in 1992, but remained without windows or interiors, standing as a concrete skeleton. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union, funding dried up and the project was suspended indefinitely until 2008. In 2011, the exterior facade was finally clad in metallic glass by an Egyptian company. However, the inauguration never occurred. Since 2018, one face of the building has been illuminated with light-emitting diode panels, displaying propaganda slogans and nightly light shows. high on the cliffs of the Mesa Verde Plateau in the southwest of Colorado, United States of America, lie the impressive prehistoric rock dwellings built by the ancestral Puebloans. Originally, inhabitants lived in pit houses atop the mesas, but around the year 1190 they migrated to the cliff alcoves, constructing stone villages with mud mortar carefully fitted into rocky overhangs. At their peak, between 1100 and 1300 years after Christ, the region was home to thousands, living in a sophisticated network of settlements spread across more than 10,000 square kilometers. Abandonment occurred around 1300 after a severe megadrought, conflicts, and environmental changes leading to an exodus southward toward what is now New Mexico and Arizona. Since 1978, it has been recognized as a World Heritage Site by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization for its more than 4,800 archaeological sites and 600 cliff dwellings. Mesa Verde is a true living archaeological laboratory connecting modern descendants of the Pueblo peoples to their past and preserving traditions orally passed down. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.